Alright guys, welcome back again to more Tsukihime. Here we go. In the end, I couldn't turn down Sail's kindness. I took a bath and put on the pajamas she got for me. After treating me to dinner, albeit a simple one of convenience store food, she convinced me to take her bed, in which I am now trying to fall asleep. Sail laid a futon on the nearby floor and went to sleep. I was dead set against sleeping in her bed, but
ここ安作りですから床は冷えるんです。風邪をひき始めている人にはおすすめできません。どうぞ私のベッドを使ってください。ちょっとはマシです。
いやベッドって先輩の。
そうですよ。気にしないでください。あまり使ってませんから新品同様です。いいですよね、日本のベッド。ふかふかで幸せです。
and that's how I ended up in Sail's bed. I stared blankly up at the ceiling. It's an ordinary apartment that pales in comparison to the tonal mansion, yet somehow it feels so spacious. My senses must still be numb, or perhaps Sail's concern for me is so overwhelming that it's making me feel minuscule in comparison. We chatted like usual during dinner, Sail being her normal, cheerful self. We talked about school, about a bunch of shops I've never heard of, all sorts of things. There was no lull in our conversation. I wasn't able to offer anything interesting, but talking helped my crazed mind regain normalcy bit by bit. I felt both guilty and happy. I'm not sure what to think anymore. I killed someone a few hours ago, and now I'm getting flustered about sleeping in a girl's bed like I'm a normal high school boy. Funny. I thought that I would never get to do that again. In my sleepless state, I find my gaze wandering. What do I do now? Where do I go from here? I'm completely lost. Shh. The patter of rainfall continues outside.
遠野くん、早く眠らないと明日遅刻してしまいますよ。
先輩起きてるんですか？
はい、遠野くんが眠るまで眠れません。私一応女の子なんですから。
ごめん、やっぱり台所で眠るよ俺。
もう何度も言わせないでください。遠野くんは風邪のひき始めなんですから、台所には寝かせられません。いいから嫌なことは忘れて眠っちゃってください。
嫌なこと？
Easier said than done. That's impossible. That's something I can't forget. Something I mustn't ever forget. Whatever the reason, I killed someone. Forgetting what it was that I took would be an even greater sin.
ダメだ。罪はごまかせないよ先輩。忘れることはできないし、忘れるつもりもないんだけど、ありがとう。今日は先輩に助けられた。あのままでいたら本当に俺は死んでいたかもしれない。
That would have been the coward's way out. Now that I've calmed down, I finally realized it. Ending my life wouldn't constitute atonement. If I truly believed I did something wrong, the last thing I should do is run away from it.
罪ですか。どうも遠野くんの間違いというのは私では想像もつかないことみたいですね。けど遠野くん、罪を犯さない人なんてこの社会にはいないんじゃないでしょうか。人間は誰もが罪人なわけですし。
先輩、それはどういう。
いえ、誰もがというのは言い過ぎでしたね。でもいい人間と悪い人間がいるんじゃないんです。ただどうしようもなく何かの弾みで道を踏み外す人がいるだけで。生きている以上誰だって過ちは犯してしまう。悲しいですけどそれは避けられない。だって人間はそういう風に生きる動物です。知恵がある以上誰かの幸福を踏みにじらずにはいられない。
Her voice, tinged with bitterness, echoes in the darkness. Huh. I never expected Ciel to be so cynical.
なんだよ先輩、それじゃあさ、なんか救われないよ。みんなが過ちを犯してるなんて、そんな例え話好きじゃない。
そうですね。それじゃあ救われませんね。けど罪というものは償えるじゃないですか。世の中には善人も悪人もいません。ただ罪を償える人と償えない人がいるだけなんです。ですから救われない人というのはどうあっても自身の罪を償えない人のことだと思います。
どうあっても償えない。
はい。でも遠野くんは償える人です。何をしてしまったかは知りませんけど遠野くんは償える人ですよ。不安で眠れないのならこの先どう償って生きていくかを考えればいいんです。それはすごく難しいことですから、そのうち頭がパンクしてスルッと眠れちゃいます。
けど先輩、俺の間違いはどうやったって償いきれない。こればっかりははっきりとしたことなんです。
そうですよ。どんなものであれ罪というものは完全には償えません。誰かを傷つけてその人の傷を治したとしても傷つけたという罪は消えないでしょ。どんなに頑張っても犯してしまった過ちは消えてくれないんです。償いとは結果ではなくその過程で生まれる心の在り方だと私は教えられました。他人に強制されずとも自らを罰することができる心。償える人と償えない人というのはそういうことです。だから遠野くんは間違いなく償えちゃう人ですね。
I wonder if that's true. I certainly don't have that much faith in myself. But if Ciel believes in me, then that's the way I'll live my life.
わかんないな。俺ひどい人間だよ。先輩が思ってるほどいいやつじゃない。
そんなの簡単にわかりますよ。さっきですね、私ちょっと感動しました。遠野くん、胸にすごい傷があるでしょ。
あるけど、それがどうして。
あれだけの傷跡ということはとても大きな事故だったんでしょう。爪痕というものは心を歪ませます。あんなに大きな、しかもまだ消えない傷だなんてちょっと普通じゃないですよね。けれど遠野くんはとても自然です。あの傷を受け止めて生きてきたのならそれは間違いなく 誇れることです。遠野くんはとてもまっすぐな幼年期を過ごしたんでしょうね。あなたはきっと怒ることはあっても人を決して恨まない。
Ciel wraps her monologues and falls silent. If I listen carefully, I can hear her breathing gently.
寝ちゃったのか、先輩。
No response. Outside, I hear nothing but the endless sound of rain.
償いか。
A punishment befitting the sin committed. By tomorrow, that woman's body will be found, and the news will be reporting a new and bizarre murder. When that time comes, what will I lose will be beyond measure. It'll probably cause a great deal of trouble for Akiha, and I won't be able to talk with Ciel like this ever again. But if that's part of my atonement, I have to accept it. My life will end where my penance begins. If that brings even a shred of comfort to the people who knew the woman I killed, then perhaps I really will be able to atone someday. I'm getting a little sleepy. I don't know what will happen tomorrow. If I'm allowed, at the very least, I hope I have enough time to thank the people who have been kind to me. I awaken to a soft light. The steady hiss of the rain has long faded. Although the sky is still overcast, enough sunlight filters through the gray clouds to rouse me from my sleep.
おはようございます、遠野くん。昨夜はぐっすり眠れましたか？
はい、おはよう先輩。
And then it all comes back to me. I spent last night on Ciel's bed, in Ciel's apartment. The night's sleep must have done me some good because I shoot straight out of bed.
おはようございます先輩。昨日はありがとうございました。いろいろお世話になっちゃって、はい、
一つ貸しにしておきますね。
Ciel keeps smiling her usual smile, completely indifferent to my panic. My cheeks burn redder than ever. It's clear which of us is handling the situation like an adult.
じゃあ一つ仮ですね。もし俺に返せる時があるのなら、その時は必ずお返しします。
I have no way of knowing what the future holds, but if I'm lucky enough to have the opportunity, I want to make myself useful to her in some way, no matter how small.
俺、そろそろ帰ります。雨も上がったし。
あれ？そうなんですか？まだ朝の6時になったばかりですよ、遠野くん。
そうだけど、昨日は無断外泊しちゃったから、早めに屋敷に戻らないと秋葉になんて言われるか。
秋葉、ああ、妹さんのことですね。昨日電話しておきましたから、そのあたりのお話は大丈夫だと思いますよ。
Oh no. A sudden chill runs up my spine.
電話したって先輩がうちに？
はい。遠野くんがうちに泊まることを伝えておかないと、ご家族の方たちが心配すると思って。ご迷惑でした？
Oh, a huge one.
いや、それは。
My voice wavers as the horrors of the situation dawns on me. Ciel called my house and told its tyrannical mistress that her brother was going to spend the night with a teenage girl in her apartment.
困る。それはすごく困る。昨日とは違う意味で死んだ方がマシかもしれない。
Oh, that's very true.
遠野くん、私の部屋に泊まったこと、そんなに嫌だったんですね。
あ、いや、そういう意味じゃなくてですね。うちの家は時代錯誤というか、とにかく決まりが厳格なんです。俺が先輩のことを嫌がったわけじゃなくて。
いいです、言い訳なんかしなくても。私やっぱりおせっかいでしたよね。あと夕ご飯、コンビニ弁当は女子力低すぎでしたよね。
Sail looks sadly down at her feet. Over the past few hours, she's become someone special to me, someone I deeply respect. Seeing her like this is the last thing I want.
本気で違います。おせっかいなんかじゃないです。俺は本当に感謝しています。先輩が介抱してくれなかったら、俺はまた間違えるところだったし、コンビニ弁当もありだし、ベッドは緊張したけどすぐ眠れたし、今だってその先輩の顔が見れて嬉しいし、気持ちがめちゃくちゃ楽になってるんですから。
I blurt out everything that comes to mind, and then I noticed a twinkle in her eye.
はい、そうですね。遠野くんはいつもの調子に戻ってくれました。昨夜は何があったのかは知りませんけど、こうして元気になってくれて嬉しいです。
She giggles. Her puppy dog eyes from moments ago were nowhere to be seen.
シエルス先輩。
冗談ですよ。私だって遠野くんのお家に直接電話なんかしません。乾くんにお願いして、昨夜遠野くんは乾くんの家に泊まったという電話をしてもらったんです。
Ah, see, that's a lot better.
よかった。それなら問題はないですけど、先輩冗談きつすぎですよ。今のは本気で心臓が止まるかと思った。
はい、私割と意地悪なんです。
Oh, that is pretty clear.
ほら、好きな子っていじめたくなるじゃないですか。それと一緒です。
Their crush? Hang on. Is she saying?
でも確かにお家には早めに帰った方がいいですね。ちょっと待ってください。
Seo hands me a neatly folded shirt.
はい、どうぞ。朝のうちに洗っておきました。上着の方は乾ききっていませんけど。
あ、そっか。参ったな。何から何まで本当にお世話になりっぱなしで。
いいえ、これも役得です。弱気な遠野くんに頼ってもらえてラッキーでした。
I know she's only trying to make me feel better, but I'm just happy that she cares. I take the shirt, step into the bathroom for a moment to change, then hurry to the door.
それじゃあ行きます。先輩、昨日は本当にありがとうございました。先輩が言っていた通り、俺に何ができるかはわからないけど、自分なりに償いってやつを真剣に考えます。
はい、それでは学校でお会いしましょう。
She sees me off with a smile. This very well may be the last time I'll see it. Someone is sure to have found the woman I killed by now. Perhaps the police are already at the mansion waiting for me. But come what may, I'm done with running. In my heart, I thank Ciel for her smile, then set off for the Tono mansion. In brief, the mansion is the same as ever.
お帰りなさいませ、四季さん。雨に降られるなんて 昨夜は災難でしたね。
Kohaku's cheerful smile greets me as I enter the lobby.
ただいま。琥珀さん。
ええ、朝ごはんですね。すぐにお支度しますから居間で待っていてください。明葉様も先ほど済ませたばかりですよ。
I honestly hope CL wasn't wearing any type of perfume. Any type of fragrance, because if Akiya gets a whiff of that, he's in trouble. With a patter of footsteps, Kwaku bustles away into the west wing, where I recall the kitchen is located. Sunlight streams through the windows. The faint sound of birdsongs drifts into the empty lobby. Things shouldn't be this calm. There's no sign that anyone has ever even heard about yesterday's murder, let alone that the police have come by. I decided to head back to my room and change.
Ohayou gozaimasu, Shiki様。お帰りになられたのですね。
ああ、ついさっき帰ってきた。
Hisui is already in my room. Judging from her position by the windowsill, I guess she was letting in some fresh air.
翡翠、悪いんだけど、替えの上着ってあるかな。今。
かしこまりました。すぐにご用意いたします。
With a bow, Hisui leaves to find a replacement. I entered the parlor to find Akiya sitting on the sofa, wearing an expression of quiet vexation.
あら、おはようございます兄さん。
Uh-oh.
いつの間にかお帰りになってたんですね。
There's no missing the trace of venom in her voice.
おはよう、アキハ。朝から機嫌が悪そうだな。
ええ、兄さんが頻繁に外泊をされる方だとは知りませんでしたから。機嫌を損ねているというよりは呆れているんです。
I stand corrected. That's more than a trace. I'm being openly scolded.
まあ、体調を崩したのなら仕方がありませんけど。乾さんという方は中学校からの友人なんですね。
That is correct, yes. Now, there's a name I never thought I'd hear from Akiya's lips. Arihiko must have actually come through for me. But at the same time, I have this bad feeling. Oh no! Oh no, don't tell me he mentioned... Knowing Arihiko, he probably mentioned CL. I can only hope he didn't say anything stupid.
まったく。徒歩のくせに傘も持っていないなんて。その上、川に流れていた子猫を助けるとか、ケーキ屋で泣いていた子供を助けるとか、喫茶店で起きた窃盗事件を解決するとか、どこのミステリ小説ですか？
Okay, that's a lot worse than I thought.
いえ、子猫を無視できなくてつい助けてしまったというのは兄さんらしくていい話ですけど。
ああ、いや。
Did Arihiko just cobble together a bunch of recent headlines from the local news? Trust him to come up with some shoddy cover story. Then again, Akiya seems to have bought it, so maybe basing it in fact lends some realism to the details.
大体ですね。学校を早退されるのなら連絡を入れてください。すぐに迎えの車を送って差し上げたのに。何に遠慮しているかは知りませんが、兄さんは遠野家の長男だと言ったでしょ。使えるものは何でも使ってください。そうでなくても兄さんは人より体が弱いんですから。昨日は突然の雨でしたから気圧の変化もあったのでしょうけど、あれぐらいで貧血を起こすなんて話になりません。一度主治医に診てもらうにしても登下校は車で送らせた方がよろしいのではなくて。
大丈夫。アキハが気にするようなことじゃない。ちゃんと週1で病院には通ってるし、 毎日車で送られたらそれこそ体が鈍るだろう。心配してくれるのは嬉しいけど、俺のことでそこまで神経質になるなよ。
そうですか。兄さんがそう言うのでしたら無理には進めません。それと訂正しておきますが、私が心配しているのは兄さんの体ではなく遠野家の長男の健康ですので。
Akia coolly shoots me down. I'm tempted to point out that those two things are one and the same, but swiftly think better of it.
チキさん、朝食のお支度ができました。
Kohaku's cheerful voice echoes across the lobby from the dining room. Though we still aren't on good terms yet, my morning talk with Akia is over for today.
悪いな。もうすぐ行かなくちゃいけないし、手早く飯食ってくる。
兄さん、その乱暴な言葉遣いはやめてください。あまり改めてくださらないようでしたら当主として命じることになりますから。
Her graceful lips form a small pout. That childish sulk, so at odds with her words, hasn't changed one bit over the years.
よし、元の調子に戻ってきたな。やっぱりアキハはそうでなくっちゃ落ち着かない。俺のことなんか心配しないでいいから、これからは気楽にしてろよ。
しつこいですね。私、兄さんの心配なんてしてません。
Akia scowls and looks away. I glance back at her fondly as I walk out of the parlor. Never change, Akiha, never change. Hisui sees me out as I leave for school. She hands me my bag, pauses for a moment, then hesitantly opens her mouth.
出過ぎたこととは存じますが、質問をお許しください。昨夜はどうなされたのですか？
別に何もないよ。雨に当てられて貧血を起こしただけ。これからは気をつける。
責めているのではありません。ただ、今朝の四季様はひどく無理をしているように見えます。どうかみちみちお気をつけくださいませ。
She bows a deep farewell. I've managed to act naturally enough to fool Akia and Kohaku, but not Hisui, it seems.
気遣ってくれたのかな、翡翠。
She's hard to read at the best of times, but I can tell she's concerned about me. I thank her in my heart of hearts as I wave her goodbye. This is the last time I'll ever see this site. My homecoming only lasted for 2 days in the end, but I should be grateful for the time I've had. If this day of execution can just last a little longer, I want to go to school and see my friends and teachers a final time before I have to leave them all behind. If I can say one last ordinary goodbye, if I can live out one last day with no regrets, that would be a better ending than I deserve. And then we meet Arquade again. My inner turmoil notwithstanding, this morning is the same as any other. More and more school uniforms dot the streets the closer I get to school. My legs feel like they're gonna quit at any moment, but I force them to keep walking. I pass through the station square and continue towards school. I know this route well. I've walked it for 2 years. The school gates are just on the other side of this crossing. The light turns red, so I stop at the curb. I can see the school's perimeter wall across the street. Protected by the guardrails lining the sidewalk, a steady stream of students is headed for the gates. There's no one but Soya High students on these streets at this time of day. At least, there shouldn't be. And yet, through the rush of passing cars, I catch a glimpse of white. Alright guys, round 2. It's her. Ethereal, white, undeniable. Golden hair shimmering like the sun. Long thin eyebrows framing crimson eyes. Though I've only ever seen her once before, I could never mistake her. But this is impossible. Yesterday I dismembered her with my own hands, tore her to pieces, rendered her to chunks of bloody flesh. So why? Why is this creature, woman I murdered, so alive and whole and beautiful? But I hesitate before I can finish. Can I do this? I've already admitted my crime to myself, but I still haven't dared say it aloud. Some deep part of me is convinced that if I do, I can never go back to the life I had. But...
そりゃ何?
My tongue dries up in my mouth. My throat goes numb, begging me not to speak. But I can't run from this. It's something I have to face. I think someone who believed in me told me something similar once. If you truly want to live a normal life, then face your own sins. Face your own actions. Never ever look away.
そりゃ後悔してる。なんであれ。俺は人を殺してしまったんだから。
I wring my confession from my chest. Just as I did last night in CL's apartment. I killed this woman. I killed her with no mercy for no reason. Purely for my own gratification.
そのことを後悔も反省もできる。できるのなら。
If I could be permitted such a cheap gesture.
何度でも頭を下げる。でもそれは意味のないことだ。事実として俺はあんたを手にかけた。だから。
What I did was unforgivable. That she was somehow resurrected is no excuse. Shikitono murdered the very woman he sees before him. I am guilty of a violation of the highest order. Of an act of unfathomable violence.
だからあんたは俺に復讐していい。俺が逃げたのはお前が怖かったからじゃない。俺は俺自身の行為から逃げていただけだった。
Slumped against the alley wall, I confess my sins to the empty air. It's as if I've finally woken up. I've spent the past day in a fugue, in a fragile transient dream, in a brief refuge from the reality of my own depravity. But now at last, it's time to pay the piper. Alright, but on the other hand, the more time we waste here, the more victims will fall right into Vlov's hands. I search for Vlov right now. She'll wait until evening falls. Okay. Alright, we're gonna search for him early. Arkway is right. I'm sure that focusing on recovering her strength, even if more people get hurt in the meantime, is logical to a vampire. Not to mention our best shot at victory.
そうだな。お前は吸血鬼だもんな。
But I can't accept what she's proposing. This plan just doesn't sit right with me. I didn't agree to help her fight so I can survive at other people's expense.
お前の方針は分かった。でも本当に不意はつけないのか。睡眠中の人は用心深いって言うけど、どのくらい危険なんだ。
I think back to yesterday. In her sleep, Arkway was utterly defenseless. Any living creature is vulnerable in hibernation, of course, but Arkway didn't even seem aware of the outside world. It was like someone had taken her batteries out. If all vampires worked that way, we might have a chance. I have a lethal ace up my sleeve as long as I can get close enough to use it. Vlov might be too dangerous to approach while awake, but if he's sleeping...
どのくらい危険かってほとんど城攻めのようなものよ。 使徒は堅固な要塞を作ってその奥で眠りにつく。正門から最深部までは眷属たちが警護しているから、突破する頃には夜になっているのがザラね。
突破する頃か。お前が元気な時でもブローブの城攻めは厳しいのか？
安く見ないで。万全なら正面から城ごと潰しているわ。まあそれだと簡単に逃げられちゃうんだけど、歴戦の使徒は事前に逃走経路を用意しておいて、自分より強い個体がやってきた場合一目散に逃げ出すのよ。
自分より強い個体が来た場合。
Turning that on its head, the odds seem good that a single human would fly beneath our radar. That may be the one advantage I have over Arkwade. It takes an army's worth of munitions to raise a castle, but only a single dose of poison to kill its master.
分かったよ。確かにお前と俺のコンビじゃ攻め込むのは難しそうだ。でもブローブの根城はそんなに危険なのか？いや、大きさとか手下が多いとかそういう話だけど。
難易度的には中の下ってところかな。城っていうより迷路だし、デパートを利用してるだけだし。きっと入り口はあそこ。それは間違いないと思う。
デパート？
I was expecting to hear some obscure vampire jargon, but a shopping center?
そう、北口の駅前の公園の前にある大きなやつ。うまく隠されているけど、あれ使徒の巣よ。食料はあのデパートから上司の元に送られてると思うけど。
本当にそのデパートかよ。いや、それより街の中心に吸血鬼の住処があるっていうのか？
何よ、作ったのは私じゃないったら。あなたたちの家だってアリやハチに巣を作られるでしょ。それと同じよ。使徒は人間の血液に寄生するんだから、住処は人間の町に近いほど効率的だし。
Arkwade seems unbothered by what she's saying, but I have to look away. Any other reservations I had go flying out the window. I won't let this parasite leech off this city for a second longer, not so close to home. If it's a fight he wants, it's a fight he'll get. I'll do what Arkwade can't, and finish this by myself. We'll wait until you've recovered your strength, I eventually replied. Then with the issue settled and our course of action decided, Arkwade went straight to sleep. I left the apartment as soon as she drifted off. My destination goes without saying. The department store by the station where Vlav makes his lair. The Sawyer Station shopping district looks the same as ever. Chic department stores line the streets, vying to catch the eyes of passing pedestrians with flashy product displays and advertisements. One in particular is larger and more recognizable than the rest. This is one of the biggest stores of its kind in all of Soya. It's probably the area's most distinctive landmark. Even now, it's bustling with shoppers. There's just no way.
駅前の一等地だぞ、ここ。吸血鬼なんて影も形もないだろう。
That said, I can't imagine Arkwade was lying. She might be lacking in common sense, but I trust her knowledge and judgment. In fact, perhaps it's because she thinks outside of the box of human norms that she's got this place figured.
そういえば、有彦のやつ、北口でおかしな話があるって言ってたな。
Easy work for good pay, taking all applicants. It seems like an obvious urban legend, a cheap trick to lure in gullible labor. But it's maintained a strangely constant presence online, never really blowing up, never quite dying down. Perhaps there's more to it than meets the eye. No one ever elaborates on what the job entails. It's not even clear if anyone's ever managed to land it. And yet, the rumor keeps swirling. A continuous signal going out to whoever might be listening. So, whatever the truth of it may be, one thing is clear. Someone out there is in need of extra bodies. After an extensive search, I conclude that the department store is clean. From the underground food court to the specialty shops on the 7th floor, nothing seems out of the ordinary. There's just one thing that bothers me.
7階から上がない。このデパートの大きさから考えれば10階ぐらいはあるはずなのに。
The elevator buttons only go up to 7, and the 7th floor stairs are blocked off with a keep out sign. I wait until nobody's watching, then slip under the rope and head up the stairs. They do lead further upward, but I soon find myself at a dead end. In a place of entrance to the 8th floor, a shutter blankly refuses me passage. Next to it is a locked door, an emergency exit.
何かあるとしたらこの向こうか。
Time to use our eyes. I contemplate whether to keep going or to turn back. I know full well how reckless it would be to carry on. I'd be venturing alone to the Devil's Den. Given all my brushes with death in the past few days. The danger I'd be putting myself in feels all too real.
大丈夫。それでもいけるはずだ。
I grip my knife tight in my pocket. If worse comes to worse, I have my eyes to fall back on. I did consider that it would have been safest to simply report all this to the police. But what would that achieve? In coming here with the intent to kill, I put myself fundamentally at odds with the law. How could I hope to convince the police of anything?
まずは様子を見る。手に負えなければあいつの部屋に戻ればいい。
I take off my glasses and cut the lock on the door. I throw it tight with tension. I swallow a wad of saliva. Take a few deep breaths to calm my nerves, then slip into the lightless space beyond. The 8th floor is veiled in darkness. It doesn't surprise me since the lights are out, but it goes beyond just that. I would have expected some ambient light from outside since it's the middle of the day. But it's really dark. All the windows have been covered from the inside with what looks like metal panels. No one would go this far just to keep burglars out. Each panel has been bolted in place, far too tightly to remove by hand. Even the small window in the restroom hasn't been spared. This could only be the product of a manic fixation, yet the work is strangely shoddy.